From the Mount Washington Radio Group online newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie. A New Hampshire Fish and Game officer says inexperience was the main contributing factor to a snowmobile crash in Pittsburgh yesterday afternoon that severely injured a 19-year-old man from Moultonborough. Conservation Officer Eric Fluette says Tyler DeMond was riding as a passenger on a snowmobile being operated by 19-year-old Taylor Smith of Meredith on Primary Trail 142. When Smith failed to make a rising left-hand turn and his machine's right ski went off the trail, throwing him and DeMond off. Smith was not hurt, but DeMond hit a tree, sustaining a severe but not life-threatening injuries. Both men were wearing helmets. Colebrook Dispatch took a call about the crash shortly after 3:15, and Fluette and Conservation Officer Glenn Lucas responded along with 45th Parallel EMS and Pittsburgh Fire and Rescue. DeMond was taken to Upper Connecticut Valley Hospital in Colebrook for treatment. Conway Police Chief Ed Wagner and Detective Sergeant Chris Maddie, the officer in charge of Conway's detectives, recently returned from a 2-day trip to the Washington, D.C. area to visit the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Called the Chief Executive Officer Seminar, the trip was completely paid for by the nonprofit center. Maddie says the course provides training as to how police departments can set up and initially respond to incidents involving children, classified as either a family abduction, non-family abduction, or a runaway, including information that's important, how to get it out to law enforcement agencies quickly, and what can and should be done locally.
The steps they need to take as far as whether or not it classifies for an Amber Alert, how they put those alerts out, whether or not they put an emergency alert out to the state, NCIC entries, getting other agencies involved, the search areas. You have a non-family abduction, what used to be called a stranger abduction, where maybe you see a young child, male, female, getting dragged into a vehicle, immediately set an Amber Alert, and how we go ahead and we set up basically a perimeter, lock the area down, whether it be through roadblocks, searches.
A father himself, Maddie, says listening to the story of Colleen Nick, whose daughter Morgan was abducted in 1995 and is still missing, made a big impression.
We take the case and work systematically trying to bring the victim back, but we tend to not look at how the mother, the parent, the guardian, we forget about their emotions sometimes and what they're going through because we don't work that side of it. A lot of the times we have victim witness advocates that go and deal with that side of things. And as law enforcement, we're so focused on processing the evidence and going through the data and interviewing witnesses that sometimes you can forget what the parents are going through.
Maddie says the center has been working and continues to work on the case of the missing 15-year-old teenager from North Conway, Abigail Hernandez, who was last seen leaving Kennett High School in October. Although the Conway Police Department already has procedures in place to deal with various missing children scenarios, Maddie says he'll now use the information he learned at the center and coordinate with Dispatch Supervisor Joanne McKenzie to update the department's procedures, including how to best incorporate the latest technology in search efforts. For more information about the center's work, see the website at missingkids.com. In Maine news, federal investigators say unemployment hearing officers in Maine could have felt pressure to favor employers after being scolded at the Blaine House by Republican Governor Paul LePage. A letter to the state by the Federal Department of Labor yesterday also notes other problems with the hearing process. The governor previously denied trying to influence anyone, saying the meeting last March was aimed at ensuring officers followed, quote, the letter of the law. The governor said in a statement yesterday the issue has been, quote, politically motivated, and the review, quote, uses conjecture and unsubstantiated assumptions to come to a conclusion that has no basis in fact. The federal investigation also found there was no conclusive evidence of biased rulings. The new findings were first reported by the Sun Journal. In sports, Sam Rowley came off the bench to score 19 points to carry Albany to a 66-48 win over New Hampshire last night. UMass Lowell beat UMaine 84-72 in men's college hoops. And Conway's Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher Jeff Locke pitched 2 good innings in preseason ball against the Yankees yesterday in Florida. In the weather today, mostly sunny, highs 13 to 19, west winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, cold with lows around 10 below. West winds around 10 miles per hour in the evening, becoming light, and partly sunny on Saturday. A chance of snow in the afternoon, highs in the lower 20s. From the Mount Washington Radio Group online newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie.